Hey Chris, it's Yoni here. Thanks for your comments last week. Sorry I couldn't get back to you earlier. I've been in Spain last week with as much internet connection as we had in the 80s. So not good. It took me about 45 minutes to upload my assignment last week. So that was some scary minutes. Having a look at your shot from last week. It's looking really, really, really good. I love the way that, he drags himself over. Emotions work really, really, really well. I just wanted to see if I could give you a few comments on some stuff that I'm seeing here and see if we can polish this up just a little bit better. You've got some things with, the hands still kind of like, being a bit detached from the arm, but I suppose you're going to add either some squash or some stretch on that. I think that one of the things that jumps out at me a little bit is that on roughly around frame 47, he's kind of like almost like hanging in midair. I'm not really sure where his weight actually is because you've got kind of like both arms really kind of like stretched out instead of having the weight kind of like pushing down on a specific part of the body. So I think that almost he has to be tipped further forward, maybe there. The other thing that I notice as well is that when he's dragging his foot forward, the knees kind of like it's not kind of like it's kind of like going up and dropping almost straight to an extent. You might want to see, especially the knees as it's moving forward, to actually not go so high up. I don't think that he's kind of like stepping with his knees. It's almost more like he's dragging them, and getting more of a sense that he's tired. So in frame 94, the knee goes really, really, really high up. I'm not sure that could perfectly be something related with the rig as well. I've got some real big problems in actually getting my character to sit down on a stool believably, so I know that there's some issues there. Yeah, when it's kind of like when he goes into frame 105, kind of like the knees are just shuffling forward like that. I don't think you have to be as exaggerated in frame 94. I think it's got to be a bit more of a drag there as well, and that works pretty well. Um, One thing that I'd say is that you might want to change the color of the sand slightly for your staging, just because at some points a bit difficult to distinguish, especially Stewie's feet and his hands from the actual background. If you gave it a lighter color, I think almost that it's the color the same almost as the hills that you've got in the background. I think that would make it just a little bit more readable to an extent. And the thing is that when he lifts up um, little bottle, I'm not entirely sure where it's what. I can't get the right word out now. But when he's lifting the water bottle up, he's kind of like I think there should be more emotion in that moment to an extent because he kind of like picks it up, and when you're in frame, you get to a frame 135, so it's kind of like you've got about the picking up is from 107, about 30 frames. It's about a second until he kind of like picks it up, and I think that almost like on your breakdown, which would be somewhere around frame 120, you want a pose that I think wants to have that, bottle almost faster. So I'd say either what I'm almost trying to say is that have your breakdown, instead of having the arms stretched out here, have them closer to him so he's bringing it to him much, much, much faster. And then he comes up and looks at it like that. And I think that that would be a bit better for the acting part of it because it's like just snatch it up really quickly, bring it towards the body, and then look at it. Big, big, big open eyes. I mean, the pose works really well in frame 135, but I just think that you could favor that pose much more in your breakdown. So favor the hands coming in and actually then lift the head up last, or you can find a way of making it. And then, he goes up, drinks it there, all good. And the thing that really kind of like just gets to me a lot is the frame that you've got in frame 217. The watering can is completely tangenting his head right there. And it's almost like, you've already got the idea that it's empty, but as we're not seeing anything come out of the actual watering can itself, it's almost like you might want to, instead of doing everything towards the camera like that, you might want to move things slightly off so we see maybe something where he might pick the can up and shake it, drop it like that, so that we get more that idea that it's empty. I think you could do the same, it's either doing exactly the same gesture where he's going to fall down, but not doing it towards camera like this, but doing it more from the side. You could kind of like then drop down and have more of some space between the bottle and the head, especially because that's just what seems a bit confusing. And when he collapses, just make him collapse down more. The shoulders and everything. I'd almost make him, sag down completely, and don't. If he keeps the hands together, notice how his hands, when he falls down on frame 151, he's holding the bottle upwards. Drop that bottle down as well. There's nothing in there. It's just everything has to go. Just like that. Exhaustion, desperation. And I think that you can make these end poses of disappointment much, much, much sweeter. And maybe vary them up a little bit. I think that, having the bottle in one hand and spreading the arms out might give you something different as well. But it's something that you can look at regarding, the time that you've got left to actually finish this off. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. As I said before, it's really great. It's there. The timing of him scampering up and drinking is great. I don't think that there's any problems there on the timing whatsoever. I just think that just the emotional state that he gets into, that change, you can make it a bit sweeter, especially in your posing. But that's just me, man. But thanks very much for the comments last week, and I'm looking forward to see what you do for this one, man. Last week we got to finish. See ya.